He had seen every kind of performance imaginable, but when this woman walked onto the stage carrying a sleep disorder that she had transformed into the most extraordinary form of live dream performance, Simon Cowell realized he was about to witness something that would redefine what it means to perform while unconscious. The America's Got Talent theater hummed with familiar energy, but tonight there was an undercurrent of psychological fascination mixed with profound curiosity, as if the audience sensed they were about to experience something that challenged their understanding of consciousness, performance, and the relationship between dreams and reality. Her name was Luna Rodriguez, 30 years old, walking carefully toward center stage despite carrying narcolepsy, a neurological disorder that caused her to fall asleep unpredictably throughout the day. But Luna had discovered something extraordinary. She could control her dreams through lucid dreaming techniques, and more remarkably, she could narrate those dreams in real time while remaining asleep, creating live dream performances that blurred the line between unconscious experience and conscious art. Luna wore comfortable clothing designed to accommodate sudden sleep episodes, soft fabrics and supportive accessories that would allow her to sleep safely on stage. There was something ethereal in her presence, as if she existed partly in the waking world and partly in the realm of dreams that most people could only visit in private darkness. Luna had been diagnosed with narcolepsy at age 16, when uncontrollable sleep episodes began disrupting her daily life. The condition caused her to suddenly fall asleep without warning, often at inappropriate times and places, making normal activities like school, work, and social interactions extremely challenging. Luna represents a fascinating case of narcolepsy combined with exceptional lucid dreaming abilities. Dr. Sarah Martinez, the sleep specialist who had worked with Luna for 10 years, had explained to colleagues studying consciousness disorders, her condition forces her into sleep states multiple times per day, but she's developed extraordinary control over her dream experiences and, remarkably, can maintain verbal communication while dreaming. The discovery of Luna's dream performance abilities had occurred during a sleep study when researchers noticed that Luna could respond to questions and provide detailed narratives while in REM sleep. Unlike typical sleep talking, which is usually incoherent, Luna's dream narration was articulate, creative, and often profoundly beautiful. When Luna enters narcoleptic sleep episodes, she can achieve lucid dreaming states where she's conscious within her dreams and able to direct the narrative, Dr. Martinez had noted. Even more extraordinary, she can verbally describe her dream experiences as they unfold, creating real-time dream performance that audiences can follow and experience indirectly. As Luna's dream performance abilities had developed, she discovered that her narcolepsy, rather than being purely disabling, had given her unique access to subconscious creativity and symbolic imagery that most people could only access through sleep they couldn't control or remember clearly. Luna had initially been devastated by her narcolepsy, which made conventional education and employment extremely difficult. But as she learned to work with her condition rather than against it, she realized that her involuntary sleep episodes could become opportunities for artistic expression that transcended normal conscious creativity. I discovered that my narcolepsy wasn't just about falling asleep at wrong times. It was about having access to dream worlds that could become shared experiences, Luna had explained to Dr. Martinez. When I learned to control my dreams and speak while dreaming, my sleep disorder became a doorway to performance art that no one else could create. Luna's dream performances had begun attracting attention from both medical and artistic communities when videos of her sleep studies were shared at consciousness research conferences. Sleep researchers were fascinated by her ability to maintain communication during REM sleep, while performance artists were amazed by the creativity and emotional depth of her unconscious narration. Luna's dream performances represent a new form of art that exists at the intersection of consciousness and unconsciousness. Dr. Jennifer Wong, a specialist in performance psychology, had observed. Her narcolepsy allows her to access and share subconscious creative processes that most people experience only privately and forget upon waking. But Luna's most remarkable discovery was that her dream performances seemed to create profound emotional connections with audiences. People who listened to her real-time dream narration often reported experiencing vicarious dream states, enhanced creativity, and deeper understanding of their own subconscious processes. Luna's dream performances affect audiences in ways that conventional theater doesn't, explained Dr. Michael Chen, who studied audience response to experimental performance art. When people listen to someone's authentic dream experience unfolding in real time, they access parts of their own consciousness that are usually dormant during waking hours. Luna had begun incorporating therapeutic elements into her dream performances, using her ability to direct dream narratives toward healing themes that could benefit both herself and her audiences. Her work showed that controlled dreaming could become a tool for processing emotions, exploring creativity, and accessing wisdom that conscious mind couldn't reach directly. This led Luna to wonder whether her dream performances could reach larger audiences, whether her demonstration that narcolepsy could become a source of extraordinary artistic capability could benefit people who had never considered the creative potential that existed within sleep disorders and altered consciousness states. Dr. Wong had suggested that Luna consider sharing her work on a larger platform to raise awareness about the artistic possibilities that could emerge from neurological differences and the ways that sleep disorders could become sources of unique creative expression rather than just medical challenges to be managed. Luna represents a new paradigm for understanding narcolepsy and consciousness-based performance, Dr. Wong had argued. Her work could help people see sleep disorders as potential sources of artistic gifts rather than just disabilities, and demonstrate that altered states of consciousness can become tools for creating shared transcendent experiences. Standing now backstage at AGT, Luna felt the familiar drowsiness that preceded her narcoleptic episodes beginning to build. Rather than fighting the approaching sleep, she prepared to embrace it as the foundation for her most ambitious dream performance yet. Tonight, she would attempt to demonstrate that sleep disorders could become sources of extraordinary artistic expression, that lucid dreaming could bridge the gap between unconscious creativity and conscious performance, and that the intersection of neurological difference and artistic innovation could create experiences that transcended normal waking consciousness. She carried no script or predetermined narrative. Her entire performance would emerge from whatever dream scenarios her subconscious mind created, guided by her lucid dreaming abilities to direct the experience toward meaningful artistic expression. The audience's reaction was immediate curiosity, mixed with gentle concern. Here was someone whose condition meant she could fall asleep at any moment, but who had somehow transformed that vulnerability into a unique form of artistic expression. Simon leaned forward, sensing that Luna's presence represented something more significant than typical performance art, someone whose story would challenge assumptions about consciousness, creativity, and the relationship between neurological conditions and artistic capability. "Hello, Luna," Simon said gently, noticing that she appeared to be already entering a drowsy state. "My name is Luna Rodriguez," she began, her voice carrying the soft, dreamy quality of someone transitioning between waking and sleeping states. "I have narcolepsy, which means I fall asleep suddenly and unpredictably, but I've learned to control my dreams through lucid dreaming, and I can speak while I'm dreaming, creating real-time dream performances. Tonight, I'm going to perform a live dream for you. I'll fall asleep on this stage, enter a lucid dream state, and narrate my dream experience as it unfolds. What you'll hear is authentic, unconscious creativity being shared in real time." Simon felt something shift in his understanding of what he was about to witness. This wasn't going to be a conventional performance. This was someone who would literally perform while unconscious, sharing the normally private world of dreams with hundreds of strangers. "You're saying you can control your dreams and speak while dreaming?" one of the judges asked with obvious fascination. Luna nodded, though her movements were becoming slower as the narcoleptic episode approached. "Lucid dreaming means being conscious within dreams. able to direct the narrative while remaining asleep. My narcolepsy gives me frequent access to dream states, and I've trained myself to communicate during REM sleep. What you're about to experience is a window into the unconscious creative process that usually remains hidden. My dreams often contain symbolic imagery, emotional insights, and creative solutions that my conscious mind couldn't access directly. Luna positioned herself on a comfortable reclining chair that had been prepared on center stage. As the narcoleptic episode took hold, her eyes began to close, and within moments she had transitioned from wakefulness into sleep. The audience watched in fascinated silence as Luna's breathing shifted into the patterns of REM sleep. Then, after several minutes, she began to speak. Not the mumbled incoherence of typical sleep talking, but clear, articulate narration of a dream experience unfolding in real time. "I'm walking through a forest made of crystal trees," Luna said, her voice taking on the otherworldly quality of someone speaking from within a dream. "The trees are singing in harmonies I've never heard before. Each crystal branch creates different musical tones when the wind passes through them." The audience was mesmerized by Luna's dream narration, which painted vivid imagery that seemed to transport listeners into her unconscious experience. "There's a lake ahead, but instead of water, it's filled with liquid starlight," Luna continued, her voice remaining clear despite being in deep sleep. "When I touch the surface, I can see memories. Not my own memories, but collective human memories. All the experiences that have ever been dreamed." Simon watched in amazement as Luna created what was essentially live performance art, while completely unconscious, demonstrating that her narcolepsy had become a tool for accessing and sharing creativity that existed beyond normal conscious awareness. "I'm meeting a figure made of flowing music," Luna's dream narration continued. "They're showing me that every person in the audience has a unique song playing in their subconscious. I can hear all of these songs blending together, creating a symphony of human experience that we can't normally access while awake." The dream performance continued for 20 minutes, with Luna navigating complex symbolic landscapes, encountering archetypal figures, and exploring themes of connection, creativity, and transcendence that seemed to emerge directly from her unconscious mind. "The crystal forest is teaching me that consciousness isn't limited to waking hours," Luna said, approaching the conclusion of her dream performance. "Every person has access to worlds of creativity and wisdom that exist within sleep, but we usually forget these experiences when we wake." As Luna's dream narrative reached its natural conclusion, she gradually transitioned from sleep to wakefulness, opening her eyes to find herself on the AGT stage with hundreds of people who had shared her dream experience through her real-time narration. The audience remained in profound silence for several moments, processing not just the beauty and creativity of what they had witnessed, but the realization that they had experienced something unprecedented, authentic, unconscious creativity shared in real time. Then applause began, not typical entertainment appreciation, but the kind of recognition that follows transcendent experience, acknowledgement of having witnessed something that expanded their understanding of consciousness, creativity, and human potential. Simon stood up from the judges' table, understanding that Luna had demonstrated something far more significant than unusual performance art. She had proven that neurological conditions could become sources of extraordinary artistic expression, that sleep disorders could enhance rather than limit creative capability, and that the boundary between conscious and unconscious experience could become permeable through trained awareness. "Luna," Simon said as she fully awakened, "what you've just shared challenges everything I thought I knew about performance, consciousness, and the creative possibilities that can emerge from neurological differences. You haven't just performed while asleep. You've shown us that your narcolepsy has given you access to forms of creativity and artistic expression that most of us can only imagine. You've demonstrated that what might be considered a disability can become the source of the most extraordinary artistic gifts." Luna smiled with the peaceful expression of someone who had just returned from a beautiful dream. "I learned that my narcolepsy wasn't about losing consciousness. It was about gaining access to different forms of consciousness that could be shared and celebrated rather than hidden or feared. As the golden buzzer activated and confetti fell, Simon said, "Luna, you've proven that the most beautiful art sometimes emerges from the places where consciousness and unconsciousness meet, and that extraordinary creativity can be found in the very conditions that seem to limit us most." 6 months later, Luna established the Dream Performance Institute, teaching people to explore the creative potential within their own sleep and dream experiences. Her techniques proved valuable not just for people with sleep disorders, but for anyone seeking to access the creative wisdom that existed within unconscious states. Luna's work attracted attention from both sleep research and performance art communities. Therapy centers began incorporating dream work into treatment programs, while art schools explored the implications of her demonstration that altered states of consciousness could become legitimate forms of artistic expression. Luna revolutionized how we think about narcolepsy and consciousness-based creativity, explained Dr. Martinez. She proved that sleep disorders could become sources of artistic innovation rather than just medical conditions to be managed, opening entirely new approaches to both sleep medicine and performance art. Years later, Luna's dream performances had evolved into increasingly sophisticated forms that incorporated interactive elements, allowing audiences to influence her dream narratives through subtle cues that her unconscious mind could process and incorporate into the unfolding dream experience. The dream walker who performed while sleeping had demonstrated that narcolepsy could become a bridge between conscious and unconscious creativity, that sleep disorders could enhance rather than limit artistic expression, and that the most profound performances might emerge from the intersection of neurological difference and the courage to share the normally private worlds that existed within human consciousness.